Okay. Good morning, everybody. We're actually back on schedule. It's Tuesday. And one of the things we always want to remember is that breakfast, if you have the right ingredients on hand, you can be working with overstock. This is kind of one of the keys to this. So what happened was we did a little catering for a friend, and I made carnitas. And so I had way too much because I bought the pork at Costco, and I had to cook a bunch off. So I got a bunch in the fridge, but this is just braised pork. It's got some seasonings on it. It can turn into carnitas if you shred it and fry it. Frying, typically, classically, carnitas has a little bit of a crispy edge to it. I'm not going to get quite that carried away. Well, we are going to do carnitas con huevos. So basically, we're making a Mexican frittata with our ingredients, and we're going to be a little bit paleo today. And the reason I'm saying that is we're not going to have potatoes. I'm going to use the butternut squash shredded as my foundation vegetable, foundation ingredient. Well, we are going to mix some cheddar cheese in there. This is a raw goat cheddar, really nice and tasty. And of course, with my vegetables, I want everything fine diced, so everything's going to cook quick. Okay. So I've got a skillet on high heat, and this is fully cooked. So all we have to do with the pork is reheat it. And like I said, we're going to cook it into a frittata. So basically, time to get started. First things first, peel that piece of butternut squash with a knife. This is your next level with knife skills after you get your basics done. Is a lot of things can be peeled with a chef knife, like oranges, pineapple, cantaloupe, etc. and so on. It certainly can make your life easy, and of course the chef knife is the tool of choice for everything as you move forward. Also, I don't have my cheese grater is in the dishwasher, so we just go to plan B. And that's why I have my squash cut a little bit smaller. I'm just going to grate that up. I have a piece of carrot left over from the other day too, so I'm going to use that too. And everything's going to be finely grated, as you can see. So this is going to cook really, really quick. So quick that I'm going to saute my onions and peppers first before we get into adding the butternut squash. If you want to get it grated faster, use bigger holes. So yes, you get to watch me do this for a while. I'm only going to do half of this because it's just Jody and I. If there are three of us, we'd have to grate more. But with our nice medley of vegetables that you're going to see today, this should be enough. Look how nice and finely grated. I mean, it almost looks like grated cheese. Trying not to get it all on the floor, Dan. And then I'm just going to take those little chunks and get them cut super thin so they don't go to waste. Okay, step one. Step two, I'm going to get the onions and peppers cooking. My skillet's already on. So once again, I just have a chunk of an onion. So the root end isn't holding it together. So I got to be a little messy here because I want to slice it into julienne and then turn and make a small dice. This isn't the classically easy way to dice an onion, but I've got a piece left. So I want to use what I have. Again, that's part of our emphasis today. What did we have on hand that we can use? And since that's always going to be the case, using vegetables that you have rather than the vegetables you wish you had. Oh, I wish I had. Yeah, well, you don't. So don't run to the store and don't say, oh, I can't make this because I'm missing a vegetable. Just use a different vegetable. Have a chunk of a yellow bell pepper here from yesterday, so we're using that up too. We're still using fresh vegetables. We're just using pieces of leftover vegetables that have been partially used for other dishes, like dinner last night, for example. Get off of there, you. This particular breakfast is going to be 80% cutting and 20% cooking because once everything goes in the pan, it's going to cook fast. So some heat, some olive oil, and in we go. And now let's get that carrot grated up real quick. As soon as I remember where I put my, there we go. And again, the carrot's going to be totally palatable at this size, grated this small. So you could easily throw a shredded carrot like this onto a salad raw, and you'll enjoy the texture. So it's not going to require much cooking at all. The only thing I'm using the root end just to hold that, keep my fingers away from the grater. Yes, I have shredded my fingers on a cheese grater. No, I don't like doing it. Yes, I try to avoid it as much as possible. There's that. Our last shredded vegetable is going to be cauliflower. So I can be super lazy. You can see it's already been trimming its beard, so to speak. So I'm just going to take that and make essentially cauliflower rice with a knife. How much? Huh? Enough for Jody and me.
Yep.
Because Chris didn't show up, so she just skunked on breakfast. Actually, she didn't even tell me if she wasn't coming. She literally had no reply. Okay, so I'll just continue to work on that cauliflower, and when I do decide to have some for dinner, then I might break it into some florets and let it roast in the oven. But there's a nice 3 vegetables, 5 all day. These are already starting to soften, so these are just going to go right on in. And they're only going to take a couple of minutes to finish cooking. So we'll clean up on aisle 2 here. Alright, salt, pepper, turmeric. Definitely very much of an orange day today. Remember that the pepper is an important ingredient when you're using turmeric. The black pepper helps the body absorb the nutrition of the turmeric. So whenever you're using a little ground turmeric, always add a little grind of black pepper. Okay, just going to touch that with a little oil. All those things love to absorb a little bit of it. And now, moving on. So here's my machaca, and this is just like pork butter. It's so tender. This was cooked for 45 minutes in an Instapot. Again, it was about 8 pounds of pork altogether that I was using. I mean, literally, it cuts like butter and it eats like butter. It has chili powder, cumin, salt, pepper, and new granulated garlic on it. Was the seasonings I used. That's fully cooked in the Instapot. We're not going to need to do anything special to that. And now, because my cheese grater's all gunked up, I'm not going to grate the cheese. I'm going to dice it fine. Once again, the old saying: if you do it with a chef knife, do it with a chef knife. Or as my mentor used to say, if you can do it with your hands, before you can do it with a knife, do it with your hands. In other words, always the easiest tool on hand will get you to your goal. All right. We're in good shape now. Getting a little bit of a caramelization on the vegetable. The only vegetable I have any concern about for texture on this mix is the cauliflower. So there's a fairly large chunk of cauliflower. You can start to see a little bit of translucent showing up. Tender. Okay. I'm going to turn that on way low. Turn this on way high. And we're going to finish our breakfast in the skillet. Our flavor today is my favorite salsa Herdez mild. I don't really go for big hot salsas anymore, given the fact that I've eaten salsas that can kill paint, and my stomach has finally said, no, thank you. Enough really, really hot salsa in this lifetime, so take it easy on yourself, enjoy your food, and don't try to blast furnace the inside of your stomach lining every time you want Mexican food. Okay. So that gives us a chance to whip up a couple more things here. We grab a bowl. And we're going to put our eggs and cheese in the bowl. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat the machaca with our power greens today. And then it's going to be more like a scramble than a frittata. Just because the scrambled will cook quicker. And remember, the goal here is cook for 15 minutes. This is one of the more important aspects. It is tough waking up in the morning. Wait till you get to be my age and it gets even tougher. So the commitment to eat like this is wake up 1/2 hour earlier than you're used to. And instead of having that New York breakfast, you know, coffee and a cigarette or something really stupid, or toaster pastry or something else that's just not healthy, or, you know, the ever popular croissant, we're looking to have a healthier breakfast that sustains you for the day without tremendous fuss. So there's that, and here comes the rest. So we're just going to use butter for my super greens and our eggs. So yes, literally super greens. I'm going to mix that with some protein greens as well. Same company, Organic Girl. These are readily available, Whole Foods, but Sprouts carries these. I think I get in there. You usually won't find these particular greens in the regular supermarkets, but more the natural food stores. But the supermarkets do provide good options for healthy, mixed, rich greens. Spinach and baby kale is a really good one. So really you can pretty much you don't have to go to the specialty stores to get what you're looking for.
The larger King Supers are starting to carry the super greens too.
Are they?
Yep.
King Supers.
King Supers.
They never cease to amaze me how they can somehow end up being a little bit more enlightening. But let's face it, Whole Foods, whether you like them or not, has created a certain level of food revolution in this country. People are much more demanding of alternatives to these classics. So you see entire sections of the store dedicated to non-dairy milks. Almond milk, cashew milk. My favorite now, oat milk. It actually tastes like milk more than anything else. And you're seeing more alternative products, more organic products. But that didn't exist 20 years ago. You really didn't see organics in the supermarkets. Well, got to keep up with the Joneses, and people are willing to pay, as I am, more for quality. So as I always say, for commodities, I love Safeway and King Supers, but for quality, if it's a question of quality, I'm going to favor the natural food stores for level of quality. And I literally wish I got paid $5 for every time I said the word Whole Foods, either online or in a cooking class, because they do have things, even after the great first buyout by Jeff Bezos, they still have a lot of things that are really quality. Let's get our plates. I don't want to get into a big social commentary. Eat a healthy breakfast. But I want you to eat a healthy breakfast too. And some of the information I share with you can be pertinent. Forks. Échale huevos. Make the eggs. It's also slang for something else that we're not going to talk about. But anybody knows Mexican slang knows what I just said, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And away we go. So what I want to do, I'm going to pour this over, let that sit for a minute while I divvy up our amazing vegetable medley here.
It smells fantastic.
Cooks super quick. Oh, it's a great aroma. Because we're just going to stack today because I'm feeling kind of lazy, frisky. We could have actually cooked these vegetables right into the frittata as well. Made one giant scramble, but visually that's not much to look at. So now I'm just going to attack with my spatula. This is also, if you've ever had a French omelet, you will see them crack the eggs, beat them, put them in the skillet, and without anything else except maybe a little touch of milk or water, and scramble the eggs vigorously, then fill and fold. It produces an amazing texture. So this is about the only thing in my life that I stir constantly when I have on the stove, is when I'm making a scrambled egg dish. And like I always say, just take the shine off. There goes the shine. Here comes breakfast. Oh, let's make it kind of tall today, huh? Let's make it mountain. Look at that. It's only 4 eggs, but we got lots of food today, as usual, because it's going to carry us. So we're going to do like Egg Mountain today. Why not? And I'm not going to insult Jody by putting on the salsa for her, but for me, the only problem I have with Herdez salsa is it's a little watery, so I like to take it out with a spoon or a fork. Breakfast is served, everybody. You don't even need a knife today. Everything's ready to go. Again, 15 minutes, tons of fresh vegetables, a nice different approach. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next.